What's good? You rocking with your boys? All rights reserved. No excuses. Had charger issues, but I'm back at it anyway. One thing I want to say is yes, I am aware I saw the charges were dropped for the domestic abuse, but that also leads me to think other things. As we've been assuming from watching things and presuming that if he was alive, this begs to differ situations of maybe there was a whole plan to it. Now, do I think he's going to resurface if that is the case? No, I do not think that would occur. But what I do understand is that if he is to resurface, will these charges remain dropped? This is a very inquisitive factor because we've never seen anything of the sort. Let alone, I've never seen someone use this tactic to get out of a charge if that was the case, allegedly. Now, another thing I want to note dealing with the fact that these charges were dropped, what was the time period? What was the weighting of it? You know, there's many factors that work to allowing this to be preserved the way it was. And it was alleged that, you know, she wasn't looking to go forward with charges anyway. So would she have been cooperative if that was the case in her standards? We don't know. And there's nothing we could use to kind of dictate it. Just to talk a little bit off subject, little things. Yes, someone's in a normal spot because it's raining around here, so I really don't have no excuse for why they would be there. But I see a guy running his mouth. I don't feel like being over there and dealing with that type of stuff, you know. So let them be, and it's not that serious that you gotta wait around. If you're trying to go home, go home. You know what I'm saying? But you know how other factors affect when I'm trying to make these hits, and you know how it works. But again, this is a very serious thing because we don't see what perspectives came to light to implicate them to drop those charges or what evidence lies against these young men they're trying to charge. It's all up in the air and hearsay almost because of the social media. One of the next things I'm going to talk about is very important because it has to deal with the passenger and a real serious look at how he affects the situations that's going on with this case with the four suspects, but yet how he differs than the four suspects that are even being examined. So there's many different things that play a part into what's understood and what needs to come out about the case. Now, I've seen a lot of commenters and things they said. A little bit later, I'm going to get to what you guys are talking about and what you're doing. I plan to, don't worry, make videos until night so that you guys have something like, let's say, a 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock matinee to make up for what's going on. I'm also dealing with my phone charging like a dummy. Again, it's a new phone. I can't really control it. And just so you see that I'm not joking, a little later in the video, I'm going to show you if it's still raining. It's actually a torrential downpour. That would be the proper term to use. So it's a little bit more than that. Now, one thing I also want to put up in the air is that I yet still have the same people popping up around me, but indicating that there's other issues that I dealt with work-wise, and I have affiliates of that individual popping up now. I mean, I really don't understand. Why would you send a little sister? Why won't you show up as a man? I don't get that. I mean, she looks just like you with long hair, so I mean, it really doesn't matter. And you see how I'm killing these cases, and I'm actually getting communication on the backside in a very potentially successful way. So I'm very aware of my surroundings and what goes on. And next time you should tell them not to wear the shorts with the M on it that dictates where you're from, but that's another story. But let me get back into this real quick. Just vibing around my situations. You know I got ADD. I can't stick to one thing when I see things that don't make sense. But back to what we are talking about. This is serious. Domestic abuse. This potentially opens the door for other individuals to look on ways how to get out of it. As we spoke, there's not many ways to avoid such substantial charges that goes against your name and your character. But now a lot of people are telling them not to judge Tentacion because the charges were dropped. And, you know, this could be a successful way in many different things, especially preserving his legacy from what we know to have been the case. And that's a very important factor. I mean, this is literally opening the gates for him to get success off of his music and for people to look past it being this subject will no longer be adherent to the public in a serious way. So now we're not going to be watching the circumstances of a growing case, and it's going to be more issues around his attackers. Now, what we're going to talk about later, just in a little bit of detail, is the passenger himself and what his identity may have been. Now, I'm getting information that's speaking against it being a cousin. I'm getting information that is also leading me to understand the reasons and potential causes for why Diedrich thought it was just a robbery. And, you know, it's going to be a deep conversation. It's going to go into detail in a way that may, you know, shake things a bit, but we got to address it because it's part of the scheme of how things develop. And it's all about development. You know, that's what a lot of people lack, is development. And like I talked about in earlier production, Tentacion began to develop. And this potentially could have angered people around him in a jealous way to see him succeeding, let alone their motives, if not financial, was jealousy. There would be no other reason for these people being so close and in touch to leave behind no evidence and try to particularly take him out hitman style by using other individuals who were involved in felonious activity. Now, the question is, will they break? You see, in the next video, also, I'm going to discuss how these suspects could, if you guys call it snitching, in their situation is snitching, but these guys could discuss more important factors around the people who were really involved in the situation and not turn on each other because they were put up to this. And honestly, they were tricked in the first place. You guys were set up as fall guys in the first place to not further your careers and your lives. Now you're going to miss out on your family and stuff to, let's say, glorify the growth of these other people who won in this situation, not having to give anything back to Tentacion and taking over his legacy and carrying it. Not that it even involves his mother, but there were many players around the mother that probably saw the gratitude and the glorification that they had better relationships than he had with his own mom, and they were able to take advantage of the situation. And it makes sense why Conscious would not have been involved in it, because they did not know him that well. They did not have any involvement that their conscience would have even been a factor in this situation. I know that there's a lot of speculation, people dropping names and stuff. Just hold on as I unveil the evidence and we discuss over more serious factors that have to do with the victory that these people would have had that they wouldn't have had any other time dealing with them, because they built no type of relationship with him. Now let's keep in mind, he really didn't have any guidance, nor did he have any relationship with guiding factors around him. This included not only biological, but this included extended family that may have been added. Now, it wasn't just a stepfather and aunties and uncles. There were also siblings that were added on the side around him that were had way before him or had around the time he was there. We got to keep in mind that jealousy is a strong factor amongst youth for some reason, because when a youth cannot further their mind, cannot grow themselves, they try and make up excuses and reasons why they have to take other people out and cause issue for those who are trying to further their mind, those who are trying to do more in life. We see this all the time. It's people who aren't really doing too much to better themselves that look at others who may do it. So that's why every day you got to look to make a better you. Every day, I'm not the same person I was yesterday. That's the key thing. And in the domestic abuse thing, women got to learn to look for men and not males. We talked about these things. You can check in the video below in man versus male. See, I'm breaking down all things because these are all perspectives that work into life and situations that revolved around this superstar. It may even help superstars in the future that are dealing with situations with women, that are dealing with situations in life, and to make better choices to preserve your career and not let up on your legacy. See, it's so easy to taint a legacy, but it takes everything to build it from the bottom. And I know if you're a superstar, you're someone building a platform, you're building some type of business, you know this more than anyone, that it's so easy for bad slander to be thrown against your business or your name, and it's so hard to build it up from the bottom because no one believes, but one thing changes everybody's mind, and then they want to judge you off your one incident. That's a very normal thing, and that's why I keep in mind my goals, my perspectives, and no matter who's enacting and acting funny around me, I act accordingly, how I know I should. You know, there's going to be situations where you'll be tested. Let those come. You'll pass the test when they come. But as far as growth, don't let anyone hinder that. No one can take what you gain up here. That's the whole prime understanding of why I interact with commenters. You know, and I have a special video I'm going to drop for you guys today. Respect to all my commenters. I appreciate everything you do. I'm sorry if I miss names. Shout to Stephanie Oken. I'm sorry if I miss names. You know, we had a very good conversation. There are topics that we talked about I still have yet to cover. I'm dealing with my own issues with this phone right now. This new phone I got that's not acting brand new. But then again, I'm not really worried about it because I already know what I have to deliver to you guys. And you're going to love the content I bring. Because we are going to talk more in depth, even as I did now, about these situations revolving. Because the information that I have right now is kind of crazy. You know, I'm just prepping my own mind to even speak on something related to this, because it really blows your mind how heartless some people can be. And then it makes you wonder, did that person know? You know what I mean? If that one person knew what this one person was up to, it changes the whole scheme of how I view characteristics and personality. It's going to get real deep, because it's really going to make us wonder, did the person that was looking for that one, like he wanted your attention, the person he wanted the most, did you know this was going to happen? The fact that this person did that, and then first on the scene, you were along with some personnel that was first on the scene. So it really makes me think, how intricate does this really go? How in and out does this situation weave? And how do the four suspects tie in? Who was making direct communication? Was this something that was allegedly done by a cousin and other people that were mixed? You see, like someone said, a commenter said, in respect to you, I'll find your name. Was it a 10-man team? Were you guys running a basketball team on the operation to get rid of this young man? And if that is, it gets sicker. That's why I'm very careful, and I only want to address it in a specific way. But you know how I rock. All rights reserved.